This video is sponsored by OLADANCE. Bone conduction headphones? Nah, trust me, you need these. When it comes to sports headphones, I think there are 4 things that you need. 1, no risk of hearing loss, obviously. 2, superior sound quality, obviously. 3, comfort and 0 fatigue, obviously. And 4, no battery anxiety, again, obviously. Now, I say all of that is obvious, but so many sports headphones get it wrong. Thankfully, the OLADANCE OWS Sports don't. And that's partly because, unlike lots of sports headphones, they don't go into your ear canal. They just sit slightly above it and pipe the music into your ears. There's a lot more to these headphones than that. Well, let's go for a walk and I'll explain everything. Right, while I wait for this horrible weather to clear, not because of these are waterproof, but my mic isn't waterproof and I just don't want to get wet. Let's talk about what these headphones are. So OLADANCE calls them the ultimate sports headphones that let you forget about bone conduction headphones. And they're launching as a crowdfunding campaign this month. If you want to get in early, I'll leave a link below. OWS stands for Open Wearable Stereo, and it was pioneered at OLADANCE by members of the former Bose R&D team. So those people really know what they're doing. And more importantly, they understand the sports headphone market and the downsides of bone conducting headphones. And the result of that is the OWS Sports, which use a combination of air conduction and advanced chips from Qualcomm to deliver better sound than bone conduction headphones. They're also skin friendly and very lightweight, which means there's no clamping force like you get with bone conducting headphones. And OLADANCE calls this multi-point stress distribution. And they also have nearly double the battery life of bone conducting headphones, up to 15 hours from a single charge. And if you're wondering how they work, they basically pipe music into your ear canal. So they don't sit in your ear canal, they sit just above it and send music downwards. And if you've never used OWS earphones before, the effect is unbelievable, because you can hear the world around you but still hear the things that you're listening to. Which brings me on to the use cases for the OWS Sports, and I'm probably going to have to get wet. I'm not running at the minute because I can't run and talk at the same time, but I've been using these for my outdoor runs over the last few days and they're just brilliant. And that's mainly because, like I mentioned a moment ago, you can hear everything around you, so you can be aware of cars coming down the road and people coming up behind you and that sort of stuff. But you can also hear whatever it is that you're listening to. So I listen to a lot of podcasts when I run, and podcast playback on these is fantastic. And also that lightweight design, the lack of clamping force, makes them very comfortable during long runs. And if you're a cyclist as well, which I used to be, I don't recommend wearing headphones while cycling. If you have to, these are the ones to wear because you can hear everything. And then we have good old-fashioned walking. So what I'm doing now, really, I'm walking around the grounds of my gym. Not my gym, it's the gym that I pay to be a member of. If you want to go out for a walk and enjoy podcasts or the radio station or your favourite music playlist and take in the sounds of nature and someone cutting the grass over there, you can do that with these perfectly. And look out for traffic. Also, if you do a lot of walking around your city, so if you're a commuter, for instance, these are brilliant because you forget they're there. While I've been talking, I have genuinely forgot they're on my head. And if you commute and walk around cities in countries like the UK where it rains a lot, then the OWS Sports are perfect because they can get wet. They're IPX8 water resistant and you don't need to worry about them. And equally, if you take them out on a mud run, for example, and they get very dirty, you can clean them very easily just by running them under the tap for a few seconds. I've tried it, they work straight away afterwards. It's just convenience like this that makes the OWS Sports so useful. But there are some non-sports use cases that you may not have thought about. The first one is just wearing these at home. So if you work from home a lot and you have to take calls and you need to be aware of what's going on in the house, so for example, if you have a young family and kids at home, you can get on with your calls, so hear the people on the Zoom call and hear when something goes horrendously wrong or gets broken in another room. Trust me, as the parent of an 18-month-old son, that makes a huge difference. And then we have office workers. So if you work in a busy office and you want to be able to hear your colleagues, obviously, but equally you want to enjoy your latest podcast episode, you can do that with the OWS Sports. And if you're going from one long Zoom meeting to the next and you're getting fed up of wearing headphones that fatigue after a while, these don't. I tried it. I tried to do a walking vlog thing, but the UK is just horrible, wet and cold sometimes. So back to the car and the most impressive things I've noticed about the OWS Sports. Firstly, beyond the open ear design, there's a cable that sits between both earbuds, and that means they are super secure. So if you do a lot of high energy sports stuff where you're jumping up and down or doing things that mean your head is moving around a lot, which I don't do, but if you do that, these are perfect. And also, if you've used bone conduction headphones and you've experienced vertigo or dizziness, which can happen with those types of headphones, you don't get that with the OWS Sports. Next up is the sound quality, which is unbelievable given the fact these are open earbuds. So remember, there's nothing filling my ear at all. The music is basically piped down into my ear canal. And they've achieved this by using 10mm drivers and a virtual bass algorithm. And that gives you much better sound than bone conduction headphones, whether you're listening to podcasts or music or watching a TV show. And then we have the battery performance. OLADANCE calls the 150mAh battery in these a little steel cannon. And it's not hard to see why, because you get up to 15 hours of playback on a single charge. And as mentioned earlier, that's double what you get on most bone conduction headphones. And a quick 15-minute charge gives you 6 hours of playback. Standby time, 3 years. I've tested these for calling quite a bit and I can confirm they work very well. The person on the other end is very clear. I'm apparently very clear as well, and that's very useful given the use cases I gave you a moment ago. And they work very well pretty much anywhere because they have environmental noise cancellation, wind detection and that sort of stuff. Again, they're just very convenient if you want to use these regularly for calls. They also have multi-point Bluetooth connectivity, which I know means a lot to a lot of you out there. That is when you can basically connect these to two different devices at the same time and switch between those two devices without faffing around with pairing. Another massive thumbs up for me with these is the fact they don't use touch controls. They only have buttons. They are very conveniently located and you get buttons for power, Bluetooth, play controls and instigating the digital assistant on your phone. Oh, and you can use them during telephone calls as well. Last up, the case. And I know I'm very boring about headphone cases, but OLADANCE get it right. It's small, it's tough, it's got a magnetic flap for your cables and stuff inside. It is an absolute triumph. It is starting to get very steamy in this car now and the sun is coming out. So let's finish this off outside. So who are the OWS Sports for? Well, there's the obvious given the name. So if you're into your running, your cycling, climbing even, they are perfect. They are superb at the gym as well. I've been taking them to that gym behind me quite a few times, and the biggest thing I've noticed is that if you're doing weight training, they don't fall out of your ears. I have a huge issue with earbuds falling out of my ears when I'm doing weight training. That doesn't happen with these because they have that cable and they loop over your ear. It's brilliant. It just means you can smash out a few reps without worrying. And if you're one of those people who has found it challenging to find a pair of earbuds that remain in your ears, and I know you're out there because you tell me in the comments, these get rid of that problem completely. They're also perfect for people who have tried bone conducting headphones but just cannot get on with them. If you experience that dizziness and that vertigo that can happen with bone conduction, again, these get rid of that. And if you're not particularly sporty but you do use your headphones all day and you tend to find they get wearing after a while, they solve that problem because I genuinely don't know these are on my head right now. And the 15 hours of battery life and that multi-point connectivity means you can keep them on your head, not worry about them and switch between devices like that. I only discovered OWS earbuds this year and I'm really glad I did, and OLADANCE continue to knock it out of the park. So thank you to OLADANCE for sponsoring this video and sending me these to check out early doors, and if you want to check out the OWS Sports yourself, just click that link below. OWS Sports is coming soon to a crowdfunding platform in November and at the best possible price. Users who purchase through the crowdfunding platform will also be among the first batch to experience OWS Sports. Just click the links below for more details.